So you missed the news regarding LSU's coaching staff today. The report was that LSU has made a move to shift Brian Polian away from recruiting coordinator and special teams coach to basically the general manager of the football program. He will be an off-the-field coach, and they will look to tab a new special teams coach. I expect that to happen within the next 48 hours from right now. I think Frank Wilson's role inside recruiting will grow because Brian Polian no longer recruiting coordinator. He's kind of the GM that's going to deal with the transfer portal and all the player acquisition. And, you know, on one hand, this is a guy that Brian Kelly implicitly trusts in terms of roster management with recruiting, with now the transfer portal, with just handling, putting the roster together. He believes that Brian Polian is a huge asset to his program. And that's why I thought it was very, very unlikely that he would change special teams coaches, because I think he figured that's a guy I need to have around. And I know that the special teams play was endlessly frustrating, and that's fair. And I had he was the last guy of the regular season that I did a assistant coach interview. Every week I interview a different assistant coach for like 3 minutes for the pregame show. I record them on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then we play it for you on pregame on Saturday. And I asked and look, I'm working for the LSU Sports Radio Network. I'm not in there trying to do a hit piece on the special teams. So I said, how would you characterize your team's development over the course of the season? Is how I phrased it to Brian Polian. He said, let's be frank, it hasn't been good enough. It just hasn't been good. He knew. It wasn't like he was defiant, like the engine's pretty stinking good. He knew the special teams weren't good enough, and part of that is on coaching. I think the fact that LSU was so poor at covering kicks and was consistently getting penalties, and I think a lot of things that happen on special teams directly point back to the coach. Now, I think the kids are coached not to hold. I think they're coached not to run off sides on the kickoff, and some of that stuff I have a hard time blaming the coach for, and I certainly am not going to blame the coach because Malik Neighbors and Jack Besh couldn't catch kicks. That's not the coach's fault. Those are two of the most trustworthy guys on the entire team in terms of catching the football, and they didn't do it in special team spots. And I hear people yell and scream, gnash their teeth, and say that special team sucks, Polian, terrible, awful, can't catch the ball. It's like, it's not like he put some guy back there who is known for not being able to catch the ball. He put some of the most trusted hands in gold helmets back there, and they just didn't make plays. But the compounding of the issues game after game after game eventually have to circle back. And Brian Polian had some really good special teams units at Notre Dame. He did not last year. So a new face, new ideas, new leadership in that part of the game, I think, is a welcome thing for LSU. And I think Brian Polian has a spot on this staff because he's got some talent on the football side of things, especially with putting together a roster, which is why when Brian Kelly knew he was up against the clock, he was taking over a job that needed an overhaul of the roster in the worst way. That's the first guy he brought on staff. So I know it's very, very popular to say this guy's awful, fire Polian, all that. Look, he's got value. He is a human being with a job. And I think it's great that now both parties can kind of move forward in a good situation. LSU can get a coach in here to maybe do some things differently on special teams, and Brian Polian can still earn his living by doing what he is best at in Brian Kelly's eyes, and that is putting together a roster. So for those of you that have been clamoring and yelling and screaming for new special teams directions since we walked out of the Superdome back in August, you've got it. Brian Polian is going to be moved to the GM, and they're going to go ahead and get a new special teams coach. And as I mentioned a couple minutes ago, I expect that announcement to come very, very quickly. I think it'll come within the next 48 hours. You'll know who LSU special teams coach is, certainly by the weekend. I think that will become public information. So looking forward to talking about that and where Brian Kelly can go with special teams, because certainly LSU's got to do a much, much, much better job handling that next football season. Hey, thanks so much for watching the Hunt Palmer Show on YouTube. If you don't mind, throw us a like right below and hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next time.